Hey guys, welcome to part two of my MetaQuest Pro first impressions or second impressions. We're going to take a closer look at the first party app from Meta, the Meta Workspaces, that lets you collaborate with others and use some typical business type tools in an AR VR environment. And then we're also going to take a look at Gravitysketch, which right now is one of my favorite collaborative apps for creativity. Not only does it let you sketch and do 3D modeling in a collaborative space, but you can actually import other 3D models from other applications. In fact, I'll show you a quick tutorial on how to use your LiDAR on your iPhone Pro to scan an object and then import it into your virtual world. So let's get started. Before we jump into software, I wanted to touch on hardware real quick. This definitely feels like a premium product when you wear it. It feels solid. It's comfortable. The new pancake lenses are fantastic. They really help with image quality and clarity. When compared to the Quest 2, it is significantly thinner profile. You can then add the light blockers on the side to give you a little more of an immersive feel. And they actually attach magnetically. As you can see, it just snaps right on. The controller also got a pretty significant upgrade because it has cameras built into it, so it does 6 degrees of freedom even when it's not in view of the headset itself. There's also an optional stylus accessory that plugs into the bottom of the controller, which is really handy for making it feel like you're using a writing utensil on a flat surface. I was able to spend a little more time in the Meta Horizon Workrooms, and I just realized I called that Workspaces in the intro. Probably not going to go back and fix that. But as you can see, the tracking mechanisms for your hands and your face just works really well, surprisingly well, for both the gesture control as well as just reflecting the movement in on your avatar. So now I'm going to connect to my computer, and it gets a little choppy here. It's not choppy for me. I think it's just a little too much for it to try to stream and record, and so it degrades the quality that I'm able to capture for this video, but the quality within the headset doesn't change at all. I was also able to play back there some really smooth quality video within that remote desktop session. And the latency related to actually using the computer was really good. It really felt like you could sit there and use this and not misclick on items like you typically might if your like mouse movements were slightly delayed. So again, this is my personal office in this virtual world. I'm going to actually jump into a meeting now, but in order to do that, you actually need to go to your computer and sign in to the site. So before we jump into that virtual meeting, I just want to show you real quick. You go to this the website, the workrooms.workplace.com. You connect it with your calendar. You schedule a meeting. It's all very straightforward. And then when you tell yourself to connect into that meeting within the VR or AR environment, you're now in a meeting room where other people can join you. There's different layouts and styles, boardrooms, different environments. Some of them are more, high-end corporate. Others feel like you're at a beach somewhere. You can also choose different table layouts, so you can kind of customize that. And at the front of the room there's actually a big collaborative whiteboard that you can either stand in front of and annotate on, or do directly from your workspace there. So, but again, the tracking is really good. I kept doing this over and over again. I couldn't believe how accurate it was, to be honest. And then you can see the AR pass through is really accurate as well. You can see your actual hands if you want to, and I've sped this up a little bit so we don't take up too much time, but you can kind of see that I've got this pad here. It reflects everything I do on my pad up on that board. And again, I could have other people sitting next to me doing the exact same thing. Very collaborative. In fact, you could actually have somebody join you from their computer from the website I showed you earlier. You can video call into this virtual environment, and we would see the little screen off to the side would have the person on it. So now I'm actually standing at the whiteboard and I'm annotating on it, but I'm actually annotating on air. because I don't have a flat surface to press against, but the haptic feedback of the controller actually, you can kind of feel when it touches a virtual surface. So it actually works pretty well. So this is now an example of a, a beach scene, which is where I would prefer to work. And I'm also able to bring up my personal computer while I'm in a meeting, and I can take a snapshot of that and save that to the whiteboard. So anything, any image or document you might have up, you can save on the whiteboard, and other people that are in the meeting with you can see what you're sharing on the board up there, but they can't see your personal space, workspace here, even if they're sitting next to you. So now I'm actually casting my computer up to the screen, and this works really well too. I mean, the frame rate is great, considering this is just kind of a live stream from my computer. And I wanted to touch on this one real quick. If you remember from part one, I was trying to figure out how to get the whiteboard to work, and it turns out it's just a pointer, and it really doesn't work very well, especially after using some of these other tools. So while Immersed is a pretty great product, I wouldn't use it for the whiteboard. So now we're in Gravitysketch, and Gravitysketch is really an incredible program. I mean, it's hard to appreciate the realism that you see when you're in a VR environment here. But the real cool thing is you can actually virtually take off your glasses and experience like a true AR thing here with whatever it is you want to work on, and you can move the objects around. There's a whole tool set of shapes and brushes and different colors and all kinds of great things. The other great thing is you can actually create your own 3D objects. So those of you out there lucky enough to have a iOS device with LiDAR on it, you can download this Scaniverse app, and it will let you kind of rotate your phone and capture in this case a shoe, but it could really be anything. With the camera, and it converts that into a 3D object. Now I've fast forwarded this a bit. It takes a few minutes for it to process, but once it's done, you can go in and kind of crop the image. So what you'll see how I kind of crop it down just to the necessary parts, and you try to get rid of the desk and everything as well. So it's just an object, and then you can export that model preferably as an FBX, and then you can import that into the Gravitysketch website. And again, this is all free. So you take that file, you copy it to your computer, you upload it into this site, and then it becomes available in your AR VR session as an object. So now I've imported my shoe in, and I've got a virtual shoe that I scanned from a real shoe, and I can manipulate that, move it around. I could pull up some of the other tools and modify it, maybe change the style or something, just as an example. So this is a fun one. This is a Mandalorian that I 3D printed. So the one on the left, it started out as a 3D digital file that I 3D printed to a physical form, and then I used the LiDAR app on my phone to then 3D scan that back and copied it over to Gravitysketch. So it's probably losing a generation or two, kind of like back in the days when you would make an analog audio recording, but it came out pretty well. It kind of shows you the power of some of the stuff you can do with this technology. And again, this is to me, when I'm wearing this, it looks like a real object, and you feel like you could reach out and grab it. So I'm giving the Mandalorian here a label just to show you an example. But the real power of this is being able to collaborate with other people. So next up, I'm going to show you doing just that. Unfortunately, I've used one of my kids' accounts, so I'm not exactly sure if they were going for Hulk Hogan or maybe that Tiger King guy. I really don't know. I'm at a loss. But anyway, what I've done here is I've actually got the Pro on a stand pointing at that direction of the room, and Joe Exotic here has a Quest 2 on, and so that's why you're able to see him. I could probably align it a little better, But this shows what it's like to have two people in the same physical room, but obviously you could do this virtually as well, with people really anywhere in the world. That's all we have time for today. Hopefully you found this interesting. Feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button to stay looped in on emerging technology trends in the enterprise technology space. See you next time.